To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s, giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces and MyLaps Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLaps. Experience progress.
It's the 6th round of the season of the 2019 MyLaps Indy Elite Series, and now we head to Lexington, Ohio for the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This is the halfway point of the season, Finian, and I think everyone's just ramping up to get those last 6 races and battle for the championship. Welcome to the Redline Ace Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. My name is Kyle Heyer. I'm joined by Finian DeCuna tonight for 45 laps around this tricky and challenging course here in Lexington, Ohio. Of course, this racetrack is 2.2 miles long. It's tricky, it's challenging, it's low grip. Some people say the pavement here is like driving on ice. Lots of elevation change here, Finian. Tonight, 45 laps. Your thoughts on Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, so we should be in for a pretty good race. You were saying the track for drivers, they describe it as driving like ice. If you look down at the track, though, there's a lot of grip and a lot of rubber put down on the racing surface. So these guys should have quite a bit of grip to work with. And just looking at the conditions, it's looking cloudy, at least in qualifying. So the track should be pretty grippy with some cool temperatures out there for these guys to work with.
Taking a look at the track conditions as we walk on in here, 79 in the air, very warm day, but 90 degrees on the racetrack, Fitting. It was almost 100 during practice earlier, so the track has cooled down somewhat. Lots of rubber on the racing line, like you mentioned, mostly cloudy skies. So this racetrack right now is perfect for high grip, high speed conditions, but like we said, offline, the pavement is going to be so challenging tonight. So there's going to be a lot of drivers slipping and sliding all over the place trying to gain traction on this course. Let's head down to qualifying here. 6 minutes left in qualifying as Brennan Trano works his way through the backside of the course in his number 9 Broken Arrow machine. Of course, this race being sponsored by the Redline Ace Company, an apparel company that's got all sorts of cool stuff. So if you want to check out their website, we have the link in the video description. We also want to thank MyLaps for coming on board and sponsoring this series in 2019. Of course, MyLaps basically makes transponders, is the long and short of it, for all sorts of racing, whether it be race cars or people or boats or whatever that may be. Of course, their stuff is also linked in the description, as well as the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana. They are always with us and watching, so we want to thank them for their continued support. But qualifying tonight, Finian, it's going to be relatively important because Mid-Ohio is not exactly known for being easy to pass at. Your assessment of this course as a racetrack and not only just a hot lap.
Yeah, and it really is a pretty tight course, and it's very hard to pass. A lot of the Pretty much the back half of the course to follow the leader. This is probably one of the best passing opportunities down here in turn 5 that Trino is going through, and then it switches back into the next turn. And then this section, pretty much onward, is very hard to make a pass. It's very slow corners and very tight.
Yeah, this is like threading the needle through here. This track is so narrow. You're cresting the hill, you're unweighting the car off of the asphalt, then you're going to swing it back to the right over another crest. You're trying to put 650, 700 horsepower down to the ground here, Finian, with push to pass. It's going to be a huge challenge for these drivers tonight, and also not running over the edge of the curbs. The curbs are relatively low in profile. They're very flat. It means it's very easy to go off the edge of those curbs, and you might find yourself off in a gravel trap if you're not careful. So Trino comes on through. He was second before. What's he do on lap number 2? A 105.547. It's only going to be good enough for P2 at the moment. Let's jump on board with Joe Branch, the MyLaps sponsored car. He comes on through for what I think is his second lap, a 107.149. It'll put him P16 on the grid for now. Andrew Kinsella in the 14, last week's winner, I believe, in that number 14 machine. And gearing up for what I assume to be his second lap, and it is indeed 106.542. He goes quicker, 11th best right now.
And Kinsella, after his win last week, stepped up into 5th place in the point standings.
So a good effort by him. Richard Holt in the number 91. This is a name we haven't really talked about a whole lot this year, but he comes on through a 107 flat, good enough for 15th quick. Liam Quinn in the 44, working his way on for his first of his timed laps this evening here. So 4 minutes left in qualifying. I mentioned it's important. Not a full grid tonight, just a couple drivers short of a full grid. But if you start back in 20th, 25th, how do you attack this race? Does it just become a strategy race from the very beginning, or do you approach it a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think probably one of the best places is just play a little bit to the strategy. Remember, everyone's got a different car, so you might want to set up your car just to adjust being back in traffic and just trying to deal with guys dirtier, because you're definitely going to have to deal with that. It's definitely going to be a factor being stuck behind someone in their wake. So passing, like you said, it's going to be pretty hard to do, and you're going to have to work through traffic. And these guys, while they have a decent amount of time, they don't have a lot of time. This race, if it goes green, which it should go green all the way to the end, should finish in under an hour to work with. So if you're a guy in the back that's trying to get to the front, you only have a little less than an hour to work with to try to get there, and you're gonna have to make sure you drive a perfect race, otherwise you're gonna be pretty much short of your goal.
Let's take another look at the track map here tonight, Finney. This racetrack, a 13-turn course. I think one of the most challenging corners for me to make is that final turn, the carousel right before the start-finish straight. That is a decreasing radius turn. You're going to be down in first, maybe second gear through that final section. Very slow. No downforce to help you out there. It's all pure mechanical grip, something that the Firestone tires on the nose of these vehicles are going to try to give them, but we know everyone's going to be on that loud pedal trying to get the grip down on corner exit. So, of course, running the full course configuration. Typically, we will start the race at the top side of that graphic there on the longest straight, but we are not going to be doing that tonight. We'll be starting on the short straight where that light blue hash mark is in the middle of the graphic.
I was going to say, just looking at it, if you had absolutely no idea what Mid-Ohio was, but you know what a racetrack is, you would probably think the start-finish line is on that really long straightaway, as most tracks are, but no, it's on that, like you said, it's on the little short straightaway a little bit before, so... yeah, guys are going to be starting there, and that's going to make the start a little bit interesting too, because guys are still going to be coming out through the final two corners while the leaders are taking off under green, so the pack's going to get spread out pretty quickly.
So, looks like most drivers have completed their qualifying efforts, with the exception of one guy who's finishing up his right now. That's the 007 of Henry Bennett. Right now, he's currently leading the points by 16 over Adam Blocker as we come into the 6th round. So after tonight, that is the halfway point of the season, and I think Henry Bennett has solidified himself as really the jack of all trades. He's come in here with some solid top 5 runs, and I really expect him to be competitive tonight, and as we continue in the season, I expect him to be competitive for the entire rest of it. I don't think Henry Bennett has any weak points, at least that we've seen so far.
Yeah, an interesting factoid too is that the winner of the last and only time that the MyLaps Indy Elite Series has come here was Henry Bennett in the 007, which I'm sure he's going to be happy about, because he is not, even though he's leading the points, doesn't have a win this season. The funny thing about that too is that Adam Blocker, Brandon Lichtenberg, Ray Kingsbury, and Andrew Kinsella, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the points, all have a win. Bennett does not, so he's showing that you don't necessarily need to win a race to lead the championship.
Yeah, so consistency is the key so far, and the championship format that you might see on a stock car side of things, you get those championship resets, you get the playoff, the chase, those sort of formats. None of that here, Finian, so really consistency is going to be rewarded over the season's run time throughout the year, I think. So.
And just talking about consistency, he's finished third 3 times this season.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. Out of 6 races, third 3 times, I'd take that any day. Also, currently on provisional pole is the 93 of Joshua Chin. He's run a 105.317. That's currently the best time anyone's run in qualifying so far in that purple and white IR18. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to dethrone him, as Lichtenberg, DiCienzo, and Joe Flanagan will not actually take a qualifying lap here. So Joshua Chin comes on through to complete what I assume is another lap that will not be timed. He's already run his 2 laps and is out there for practice at this point.
Yeah, Jack Campbell missing out on pole like 16 thousandths of a second. That is extremely close there.
And it's pretty close in the first top 5, but I'm seeing pretty large gaps. We have, I mean, back to 10th place is almost a second. So there's a pretty decent gap between the front runners and really the rest of the field there. Really starting with Drake on back. Jeff Drake in that 92 was super competitive at Texas a couple weeks ago, but looks like he'll be P10 for the start of this one. Matt Kingsbury in the 21. He didn't really have a great race at Laguna Seca a couple weeks ago. So, I'd be surprised if he ran well tonight, but he's starting 11th, which is about mid-pack, a little bit farther up than mid-pack. But, of course, the Kingsbury also, well, at least one of them won a race this year. That was Ray Kingsbury back at Pocono, I believe.
Yes, that was indeed that. Yeah, Matt Kingsbury hasn't had the best of luck. Hasn't finished inside the top 20 so far this season. So it's been a struggle in the first 4 races for him, or the 4 races that he's started.
So once again, you're watching the Redline Ace Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. Of course, Redline Ace coming on board to sponsor the 6th race of the season. Their apparel brand link is in the description. You should check it out. There's some cool stuff on there. So as we head down to 45 laps, our graphic is telling us 49 minutes estimated to complete this race. Your thoughts? I mean, we could see a yellow flag if something were to go massively wrong at the start, but tell me why it's a little bit scary to start on the front straightaway that actually houses the finish line for this race.
Yeah, and actually it's going to come into picture perfectly. The second time this has been perfect for us, for us tonight with the camera angle. But yeah, you can see, so drivers are going to be coming out of the second last corner and the final corner you can see there. And you can see the start-finish line too, very close to the beginning of the straightaway. So guys are going to be taking it as soon as they come out of the corner. Green flag's going to be in the air, and everyone's going to be racing it off and down into turn 1. And if we can get an eye on turn 1, I believe is a camera. Is there not? Is there?
I don't think we have one right there right now, but we can go back up to the top. And the turn 1 is basically that left-hander towards the top of your screen, right by that bridge. That dark rubbered-in corner, that left-hander, that is turn number 1. Yeah. And there's a big curb there on pit out, and you don't want to hit that in these cars. You're going to go for a ride. Yeah,
you're going to go for a ride, and you don't want to go for a ride because there's going to probably be a guy to your outside if you're starting on the left-hand side of the course. As we see our starting lineup, it's going to be Joshua Chin in the 93 from Florida. He's going to be starting first outside of him, and the 2 car is going to be Zach Campbell from Georgia.
In row number 2, Brandon Trano in the number 9, Henry Bennett in the 007, the current points leader. He'll be roll on the outside of row number 2.
Moving back to row number 3 and 5th, we're going to have Riley Thompson with a great qualifying effort in the 58 car from the Mid-South. Outside of him, Frank Levitt, the 4th in the 77, will be starting in 6th. 77 had a pretty good run last week. Adam Blocker in the 74 starts 7th. Ryan Norton in the number 84. He'll roll off on the outside of row number 4 in 8th. He's from Indiana. Back in row 5, Andreas Eich in the 76 car from Scandinavia. He's going to be starting in 9th and 10th. Outside of him is going to be Jeff Drake, and we're going to let the rest of your qualifying lineup go across the bottom because we only got 3 turns before we go green here. Yeah,
it's pretty quick to go green here. So as the 93 of Joshua Chin takes us around 45 laps again for the Redline Ace Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio, and I think we're ready to go road course racing.
No, someone's crashed in the back row.
Oh, we do. It's Matt Kingsbury in the 21 in one of the Spark VR cars. He spun out on the pace lap. As we get the green flag, and everyone's going to be scattering at the front of the field. That was a chaotic pace lap as we go green.
Yeah, racing field getting separated down towards turn 1. Zach Campbell in 2nd, Joshua Chin in 1st, and quite a bit of separation as everyone's coming down to the keyhole for the first time.
Yeah, so Riley Thompson has also gone for a loop down in turn number 1 in the 58 machine. It looks like he's gotten away without any damage, but a chaotic start here at Mid-Ohio. We thought that was going to be pretty orderly. It was not. So Matt Kingsbury already starting off on the wrong foot. Dan Ench in the 52 is back here as well. So both of these cars got up to a horrible start, but up front, Joshua Chin leads the way. Behind him, that's Frank Levick the 4th, and Adam Blocker fighting for P5.
Blocker's going to keep 5th. 6th is going to have Levick, and then Andreas Eich in 8th as everyone's following through. Looks like besides those incidents, looks like
Oh, Joshua Chin has slipped back to 4th place on that opening couple of corners as Campbell leads the way. So he started on pole and has dropped back 3 spots in the opening lap. So not a great start for the 93 either. Has anyone actually gotten a good start?
From looks like Campbell's off to a very good start. We'll hope that he can stay there unless that position is cursed. But Chin's going to have a lot more work to do. He's got 3 cars ahead of him. Zach Campbell's going to lead lap 1.
Yeah, so Zach Campbell, remember back to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca a couple weeks ago. He was off to a spectacular start there and didn't really end up having a great race, but Tim Doyle in the 11 has gone for a loop. This is heading into the final corner. What happened to the 11? He actually has some rear wing damage. Was there some contact? I think that was the 58 of Riley Thompson in behind him. But ooh, he had to jump on the brakes to avoid one of the Sadie cars and spun out into the fence.
Looks like just wing damage to his car, so should be able to fix that and get back underway.
And there is Dan Enge to the inside. And up towards the front, though, 3rd place, Henry Bennett moves up past Joshua Chin. He takes P3 away, but Chin was really quick in qualifying. We'll see if he's got the race pace to go up and steal that lead back for Zach Campbell, who has a 7/10 of a second lead. Ray Kingsbury, though, in the 25, has just worked his way around Liam Quinn. That's a fight for 18th place, and Kingsbury takes that Spark VR car up a couple spots.
Yeah, all the midfield all still pretty close together as guys are not completely getting separated from each other just yet. The top 3 are pretty spread apart, but even in behind Bennett's Joshua Chin, Blocker, and Levick that are all really piled close together.
Yeah, Liam Quinn is working over Kingsbury, though I don't think this battle is done just yet, working their way through the carousel again. Such a challenging corner to get the power down on exit. You see them tucked right up against the curb there on the right. First gear, trying to get that power down. And look at the fight in front of him. Chad Simpson's in it. Jonathan Goke's as they make their way to turn 1. This is going to get wild. Simpson offline in the 42, and here comes Kingsbury to the outside.
And they're all filing off in the back here in the midfield.
And David Adams in the 88 is working the inside. That is one of the Sadie machines, and he's side by side with Kingsbury for a moment. Look at the run that the 44 of Liam Quinn got on corner exit out of the keyhole. They're going to run down to China Beach side by side. This is a fight for 19th place, but every spot counts in the trek towards the championship.
Kingsbury with a dive to the inside of Chad Simpson, his teammate, is going to get the spot there, move himself up into 17th.
David Adams a little bit wide coming off of turn number 5. He's got Liam Quinn back to the outside, up and over the curbs goes the 88. That's got Riley Thompson and Marshall Stanley stacked up behind them as they make their way down through the far side of the course. And right now, Finney, in dirty air, I know these cars are relatively low downforce compared to the DW12 generation of IndyCar, but you still have to be conscious when you're following someone through a high downforce corner. If you're too close to them, you're not going to have the aerodynamic grip that you need to make the corner.
Yeah, and the key thing too is that you can see just as we've gone around the track a few times, there's not a whole lot of runoff. So if you're going to go wide in the corner, you're going to be in the grass and you can easily loop it. So you got to be careful with that as you're looking off the back of Jeff Drake, who's got Andrew Kinsella and Logan Simmons in behind.
Yeah, look at the run that Kinsella got through the center of the keyhole, fires down the power on exit. Now we'll have the slipstream. Maybe use some push to pass here on the long straightaway. He'll get a run heading down towards turn 4.
Building up the run using the drive. He's going to have a look to the inside down into turn 4. Hard on the brakes. Kinsella's going to go for the dive, and he's going to get the corner.
And Simmons will take advantage of that and move his way up into 10th, but ooh, Jeff Drake wants it back, and he'll steal it in turn 5, but Simmons still tries to keep that wing to the inside, and he will through turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, this is going to be really tight. Not enough room for 2 cars, and they back it down to single file for the moment.
So a frantic first 4 laps here as we start the race. I think everyone's kind of calmed down a little bit and had a moment to take a breath. Let's jump up the road to 3rd place, Henry Bennett. Joshua Chin was a touch quicker than the 007 last time by. He's got Adam Blocker in behind him, but Chin, the pole sitter, slipped to 4th on the opening lap and trying to regain some spots.
Yeah, and really, Zach Campbell's taking off into the distance. He's got a 2.4 second, 2.6 second lead over Brandon Trano, and then even there's a 3-second gap between Bennett and Trano for 2nd. So Bennett's really been holding up quite a few guys in behind him. He's got a guy stacking up Chin, Blocker, and Levick have still struggled to get by the 007. Bennett just doesn't have the pace, it seems, compared to the leaders.
Yeah, they've lost about 6 seconds to Zach Campbell since the start of the race. So Campbell is setting a fervent pace at the front of the field right now, was nearly 0.6 of a second quicker than 2nd place Brendan Trano last time by. Meanwhile, towards the rear, look at this fight. Chad Simpson, Riley Thompson, David Adams, Marshall Stanley, and Lichtenberg all in a great duel for 18th spot.
Thompson's going to look to the inside of Simpson this time by. Simpson on a slight fall to the back.
And Marshall Stanley taking a long way around as well. Through turns 4 and 5 as they head down the hill yet again. And Simpson, that Spark VR car around the outside. Remember, he fired off really solidly at Pocono. We haven't really seen a whole lot of Chad Simpson since then. So really trying to get that second part of the season fired up in his Spark VR machine. You see Liam Quinn. Oh, Liam Quinn in the 44. He has gone off the course. And he might be all right. I think he escaped without any damage, but he's yet another driver to have an incident here in the opening laps at Mid-Ohio. And probably going to get a little bit wide on entry, clipped the curb, and just lost grip on the rumble strips there and spun it out.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You really got to make sure you know which rumble strips and which curbing to use here. Because some you can use a little bit, and some you really shouldn't be touching at all, especially in the high downforce corners when the car has a lot of load underneath it.
So Tim Doyle has come down to pit lane to service his car. He had quite a bit of damage from that opening couple lap wreck that he had on the far side of the course, and he's rebounded to come down to pit lane and get that wing repaired, although he is a lap down here early, so not the way that Tim Doyle wanted to start his night. And there goes Dan Ench in the 52 around him. Frank Levick, oh, got a car around. Henry Bennett's around. The points leader crashed. Points leader in the tire barrier. He's going to stop that car, and that's race over for the 007.
That's really unfortunate. Has been having such a good run in the opening 5 rounds of this championship.
And same spot as
Quinn, yeah.
And he's actually understeered off the course. Yeah. And big impact into the wall. That's huge championship implications for the 007. Here's another look. Just watch the car get unstable. As soon as that left rear is going to catch the curb, you see the wheel kick out to the side. Bennett tries to save it, corrects it, and he's going to slide off the course and pound that tire barrier. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, the points leader's out of the race.
Yeah, he probably honestly would have been better off if he had to just ditch it to the right, as he got another car. Oh, that's Jeff Drake in the 92. He's got some damage. Looks like he's waiting to join back on the track.
Yeah, he was running up much higher than 17th, is where he is right now as he sits beached in the gravel trap. And how did the 92 go for a loop? Let's check this out here. And this was actually entering the keyhole. So this is all on his own.
Some grass?
I don't know if he caught grass or just got on the brakes too hard, locked up, had maybe too much rear brake in it. Wow, big dive into the mud, which is what destroyed that front wing, and that's going to be certainly a replacement coming for the 92. So already, the Redline Ace Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio has had plenty of action as Ray Kingsbury is stopped. He's actually beached.
Oh, no.
And he's stuck in the gravel, and he's unable to get that car restarted.
He's rolling back.
He's got that car beached, and he managed to get it out. Can he rejoin the racetrack safely? He will. But this part of the course has been extremely challenging so far.
There's a third incident in 3 laps that we've seen here.
This was actually a little bit before that corner, but still the same sector. And he just was all sorts of sideways going in there and slid in backwards, and then watch as he gets in the gravel, gets the rear wheels off, and just can't get the thing rolling.
Yeah, smart of him, though, to just let the car roll back and then get it back going under the way. He's lost quite a bit of time, but at least he's still running in the race back down in 21st.
And Jeff Drake has come down to pit lane to service his number 92. All this is happening behind Zach Campbell, who started the night in 2nd place. He's currently leading. He's led 7 laps, which is every single lap we've completed so far tonight. So Campbell is off to a great start. A lot of other drivers, not so much. Brandon Trano sitting almost 5 seconds behind. A pretty solid race for this number 9 car.
Yeah, and actually in behind him, here comes Joshua Chin. I'm actually interested in Chin, so I think he was really being held up by Henry Bennett, and now that he's gotten clear, you can see he's pulled away from Adam Blocker and Frank Levick in 4th and 5th. So Chin, he's actually ran faster than Trano last time through by about 0.5 seconds. So he might be able to catch the 9, maybe even the 2 here for the rest of the race. We'll have to keep an eye on this 93, because remember, he was leading but had that mistake on lap 1.
So we'll see if he can rebound. Currently running pretty competitive lap times. The top 3 clearly quicker than the rest of the field at the moment as we continue to work our way through this race. We're closing in. This race is ticking by pretty quick, about 1 minute and 5 seconds a lap.
I was going to say, actually, since we have a little bit of a lull in the action, do we want to try and see what happened to the 93 on lap 1?
I would like to see that, actually. We didn't really get a chance to look. So what we're going to do here, bear with us, is we're going to go back and try to find out exactly how this 93 lost the lead. And I believe, here's a look. This might have been later in the lap. I think it was down towards China Beach.
Yeah, it definitely was by around turn 4.
So this is, and there goes the 58 who this is a replay of lap number 1. So the 58, excuse me, just spun out all on his own down in turn number 1, and then Joshua Chin, he must have run wide down in the China Beach turn 4, turn 5 area. Right on board with them. He was free and clear. He could have run away with this thing, and does he clip the grass on corner entry?
Oh.
No, not quite. I see how he... Oh, right there. A big bobble right in turn 5, and that's how the 93 lost the lead earlier in the race. We'll go back at the end, and we're going to watch what happened to Kingsbury on the pace lap, and we'll also take a better look at the 58 of Riley Thompson and the spin he had on the opening lap. So Campbell continues to lead the way. Adam Blocker back and forth. Frank Levick to 4th in 5th. Ryan Norton sits 6th right now in that number 84.
Yeah, he's having a great run. He's got Andreas Ike and Andrew Kinsella in behind him.
Jeff Drake looks like he has pulled that car back to pit lane here, Finney, and he actually never left the box after getting service. Looks like his night might be over. Either that or he's getting some more required damage fixed. But he didn't really hit that hard. I'm surprised.
I was going to say, if he didn't get back up now, I feel like he probably... Oh,
there he goes, back up on the jacks. Potentially getting some service back to that car.
Is he in the car?
Yes, he is, I think.
I don't see a head in there.
Oh, maybe it's not. Yep. All right, well, we'll find out. We'll keep you updated on the 9-2 situation as we'll jump back. How about 10th place John Downing in the number 40? He's got Andrew Wood tucked in behind him. Remember Andrew Wood last week at ISM Raceway really had a dismal day there, ended up crashing at the exit of turn 4. Self-proclaimed huge mistake. He was really upset with his performance last week and trying to recover from that. Right now in 11th place, knocking on the door of 10th.
We'll see if he can try to catch up to Downing and Sadie Carr up ahead of him in 10th.
Backing off the throttle really early there, maybe saving some fuel.
Yeah, I was going to say either saving some fuel or just being careful in that corner.
Again, this track, I know there's a lot of rubber and it's relatively cool out here, but it's not known for being grippy. There's a lot of drivers that say this place is essentially like driving on ice. It's a very slippery racetrack. Oh, there goes Wood!
No.
He locks it up and saves it! Wow, what a great job.
Speak of the devil, wow.
Well, there's a commentator curse for you. That was a great save. Look at this. This is a spectacular drive by Andrew Wood. And the pavement here is so worn down from being used so much. Right there, look at that drift and slide, locks up the front brakes, gets it back under control, but a scary moment there for the 32. That just shows you how on edge these cars are and probably why it looks like drivers are saving fuel. They're just backing out, trying not to wreck their stuff.
Man, I'm looking at Zach Campbell's pace, and he is just ripping down laps. Look at his best lap and look at his last lap. He was, let's see, let me do the math on that. He was 13,000 slower than his fastest lap. He's setting really consistently fast laps right now.
Some lap traffic. That's the 11 of Tim Doyle. Again, this is your leader, Zach Campbell, in the number 2 at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Probably should have won that race with the pace that he had. Ended up having a couple things go wrong and ended up having to retire towards the end as we got Andreas Ike. Oh, actually, Andrew Kinsella, I think. I don't know if he went for a loop or if he was just...
No, he definitely went for a loop.
Taking the... Oh, it was actually a several car incident here. That is the 76 of Andreas Ike. They're right around each other, and ooh, that's going to be looked on probably unfavorably by the race control. And most certainly an accident, but that could incur an avoidable contact penalty for sure.
Oh, I think he was using push to pass there, tacked out by the end of the straightaway.
And was tucked right in behind Andreas Ike. And Ike was slow through the center, but I think Kinsella just misjudged it.
I think he was expecting Ike to gas up there over the hill and just didn't do so.
So he'll try to rebound from that spin. He didn't really lose a whole lot of spots. He's going to work his way back around. That is Andrew Wood in the 32. This is the fight for 10th spot. Andreas Ike looked like he escaped without much, if any, damage. So closing on the 1/3 point of this race. And Campbell's led every single lap so far. That number 2 car 7 seconds up the road from Treno as we watch Kinsella go back around Andrew Wood for 10th. A lot of drivers have their fair share of issues. The Kingsbury brothers 21st and 22nd. The road courses have not been kind to them so far as Kingsbury runs wide in the keyhole. Been very lucky with the camera selection tonight, have we not?
It's almost making me wonder how much we've missed.
I mean, probably quite a bit.
Sheer amount of stuff that's happened, but yeah, it's not been a good race for Matt Kingsbury even before he took the green flag.
Yeah, so Kingsbury started 11th and immediately crashed on the pace lap. We'll go back and look at that when we get a lull in the action or maybe after the race. But how about Logan Simmons in the 75? This driver has impressed me lately. Got his first top 10 of the season last week at ISM Raceway. Right now, he's in 7th after starting 14th and continuing to claw his way forward. Not running incredible lap times, but he's just been keeping that car in one piece and on the pavement, which is important tonight.
Yeah, although he's got Andreas Ike, who's kind of on a vengeance drive after his little spin in contact with Andrew Kinsella. So we'll see if the 76 can catch back up to him. You can see him in the background, hard on the brakes.
And how many marbles are offline as well? We have to consider that. With the track so rubbered in, it'll stop taking rubber, and you see some marbles flying there as they go off the line just a little bit on the entry to turn number 7. And that's potentially an issue through especially this section. Joe Branch and Riley Thompson. Whoa, that got tight there for a second. This is the battle for 13th.
Yeah, Riley Thompson was hit Joe Branch with the wing. They're still going at it. You see him tucked right in behind the 28 car.
A bit of understeer there for the 28, puts him offline. Here comes the 58, trying maybe to over-under here through the carousel. The hard right-hander pulls it in real tight. Branch was way offline. Whoa, slow car.
That is offline.
Dan Ench in the 52, I believe. And what happened to the 52 that he was so slow in that final corner?
He might have just been letting these guys on by because he is a lap down.
He is a lap down, but really got in the way of... I think that was Richard Holt in the 91, and yes, it was. So he was getting out of the way, but in the way for the 91 car. He's certainly slow. There's something wrong with this. Oh, never mind, he's going through the keyhole. He's going through a corner. That would explain why he's going slow. He still seems like he's off. How much damage does this car have?
It looks like he's got a lot. He's hitting the top of 6th gear.
Maybe just slotting back in line somewhere safer, as he has done that. Logan Simmons, Andreas Ike, they continue their fight for 7th. This one's getting a little heated here. Let's jump back to Branch and Riley Thompson, though, because I don't think this one's done. As Riley Thompson right now is lapping a lot quicker than Joe Branch.
And I'm just kind of curious when he's going to, be able to get by, or if he's trying to plan on waiting until he gets maybe to one of the longer straightaways to make a pass of Branch, because he's looking a lot faster in the corner seat. Here you can see him get all over the back of Branch.
And while they're heading by pit lane, you see a couple cars ducking off. One of them, Ryan Norton in the 84. Another car, Jonathan Goke in the 08, one of the Spark VR machines. He heads down to pit lane for a pit stop. So 16 laps in, maybe splitting this race into even thirds is my guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking some of these guys might be heading for. We'll see if anyone dares to try to make it on one stop. We're not that incredibly far away, but we're also decent away from being able to do that. Go probably about another 7 or so laps to try to make that strategy viable.
I think that would be doable, but we'll see how the strategy works out tonight. I think for Zach Campbell, the only way he will lose this race is by running off the track or by missing the strategy, because he is flying right now. He's been solid all night long, and no mistakes yet for the number 2.
Yeah, honestly, you can stop pushing. He's still running faster than anyone else on the track right now, but I don't think you can really convince this guy to slow down at any point.
Yeah, so just for comparison, his qualifying, or his best lap time so far this race, a 106.176. His last time by was a 106.232. That's how fast he was going. Frank Levick IV is in pit lane from 7th.
One of the first of the leaders to come on down, or one of the guys inside the top 10.
I just don't know if tire wear is going to be a big issue tonight. I mean, the track's so rubbered in. I don't really think, looking at Zach Campbell, I don't really think tire wear is going to be a huge issue. David Adams in the 88, one of the Sadie machines, he comes down to pit lane in the 88 machine. He's had a pretty uneventful day so far, at least since the first couple of laps. He was in that wild battle back there for about 20th spot, and he's still around that area, so he hasn't really been able to improve a whole lot yet tonight. But still a lot of racing left to go. Matt Kingsbury comes in his Spark VR machine. Dan Ench in the 52 makes his way into the box.
He's got a damaged wing that he didn't have before.
Yeah, this has just not been the 52's night. Out on the racetrack, no significantly tight battles at the moment, with the exception of Simmons and Ike. They've been really following each other quite a bit, and that makes me think that either these two are extremely well matched, or Andreas Ike is dealing with a lot of aero push right now.
I think it might be a little bit of a ladder, because I'm pretty sure he was ahead of Logan Simmons before his little incident. See if he maybe tries to use some push to pass here on the next straightaway after the keyhole, but he's been pretty close to Simmons, so that's why I think he's got the pace, but yeah, just hasn't really been able to make the pass on the 75.
John Downing in the number 40 car. He makes his way down pit lane. Is actually already leaving. Oh, car sideways in the background, I think. Was that Flanagan? He spun out on the pit road entrance here. And trying to get in his box, and is really struggling to line it up. As you see Ray Kingsbury coming on by. Flanagan's still struggling back here. There he goes. Finally in the box. Kingsbury, Quinn also on pit lane at the moment. And we'll go back to Simmons and Ike as they fight for 5th spot.
You see how he's taking different lines to the corners, just trying to get some clean air to the nose of his car. That's a
Matt Kingsbury. Yeah, why is he so slow there? He must have just had an issue. So Matt Kingsbury has not had a great race so far. And might have also had another issue here. Yep, spun out. And did he damage the wing? It looks like he might have gotten away with it. But another off tonight for the 21. So pit stops for a majority of the field have already happened, but there is still a big portion, especially towards the front of the field, that have not made pit stops yet, including all of the top 8 drivers, which would be everyone back to Andrew Wood.
Yeah, they're only about, they can complete another 3.5 laps. They should be able to go on fuel. So, and I mean, it looks like we're getting to the point, but you never know. We'll have to keep an eye on them.
So,
oh, but no, and I'd say that Zach Campbell's in.
Yeah, so he's going to be committing, I would think, to, I mean, could you make it from, there's no way. This has got to be a 2-stop strategy for him as well.
No, I think it's 2-stop, but we have to keep an eye and see how much fuel is left, although I imagine you want to run the tank as close as you can to around halfway.
So Brandon Trano takes over the lead in the number 9 machine. Joshua Chin, remember, he started on pole tonight and currently sits in 2nd place. He's just trying to work his way back. That's how difficult it is to pass. He won the pole, got back to 4th, and has really struggled to make up any ground beyond that. So Zach Campbell back out of the racetrack, only slotting into 4th quick. So Campbell is in a really good spot regardless of how the strategy plays out. When you give yourself that big of a cushion, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
We got a massive lead to the next few cars. There's a 13-second gap between Campbell and Logan Simmons.
Richard Holt and Joe Branch for 10th. Almost to the halfway point of the Redline Ace Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. Of course, after this race, that marks the halfway point of the season. We'll trek our way to crowning a season champion. Walking into the night, Henry Bennett was atop the standings, 16 points out of Adam Blocker. Right now, Adam Blocker is sitting 3rd, and the 007 of Henry Bennett down in 27th place, retired. So the points lead is going to swap after the night. So Henry Bennett's consistent season looks like that is going to take a big hit here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew Kinsella and Adam Blocker teammates are going to benefit from that. Unfortunately, the other teammate, Henry Bennett, is going to suffer from his unfortunate accident.
Brandon Trano on pit lane from the lead. He comes on in. Actually, I don't even think he officially led a lap. He has not, so all that without leading a lap. But Joshua Chin is going to take over the lead, and we'll see how long he can stay out. So if you can go another 2 laps, you're good to the end, Finian. I don't know. I mean, what's the thought?
He doesn't even really need to go the extra lap, at least in this stint, because they burn up fuel during a little. Actually, they don't really burn up that much on the face lap. But I mean, if you can go to at least the end of 22, going 23 is a lot more viable. We'll have to see and keep an eye on the 93 here. There's still a decent amount of cars that have yet to make a pit stop, although quite a few of them are coming in now. So we'll see what the 93 does.
No, it's just out another lap, so he can make it to the end then.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try it, and honestly, props to him for doing so. Because he's gonna, I guess, have to try to do something and pry this race away from Zach Campbell.
Again, I don't think he was gonna win on raw pace. That 2 car is way faster than everybody else. I don't think anyone's gonna pry away the victory from him unless they pull some strategy. Brandon Trano car sliding wildly off course, I heard. Oh no!
Whoa.
Right in front, it's Dan Ensch in the 52, and that's Andreas Ike.
Oh.
And right in the middle of the racetrack, everyone's scattering to miss it, but the 52 is horrible. Day continues.
Let's see what happened here between these two.
Ensch in the 52 was slow. The 76 the closing rate was so fast, and Ike just ran right into the back of him here. We have to ride on board with the driver, the number 76, who was up about 7th at the time. And there was another car off. Was that Kingsbury again? No, that was that was Trano in the 9.
Oh no.
So Trano also went for a spin. Let's go back and take a look at that. So here's Trano, and we've seen this be a trouble spot this evening on corner exit.
Looped it as he came over the crest of that turn.
And then spun it out, and watch as the drivers go by. He's going to throttle back up, and right in front of him, Ike and Ensch get together. And they tangle. And look at how close that was.
Yeah,
great response time there. Joshua Chin into pit lane. Adam Blocker leads the way in the 74. He has yet to come to pit lane either, so they can most definitely go to the end. So strategies all over the place right now. Some 2-stopper, some 3-stopper. Or excuse me, 1-stopper or 2-stopper.
Yeah, so looking at this, Adam Blocker, Andrew Kinsella, and Andreas Ike should be able to go to the end with the amount of fuel that they have left.
So Campbell has actually run down Adam Blocker, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's, I think, what Campbell was going for there. I think he figured tires were better, and I mean, especially with considering his lead, too. I don't see why he wouldn't pick that. So he's gone for raw pace, and he's going to get back the lead, essentially, on raw pace, even though he's made one whole pit stop over Adam Blocker, which is honestly insane.
Andreas Ike makes his way into pit lane. David Adams in the 88 goes for another spin tonight.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for the 88, our Texas winner.
And same spot on the racetrack, throttling up over the edge of the curb and just got the left rear. Wow, look at the bounce over the curbing, and he went for a loop.
This entire back half of the course has claimed quite a few drivers over the course of this race, and even before the race, too.
It certainly has been a challenge. Ike slots back in line in 16th place for now. Chad Simpson right behind him in one of the Spark VR machines. Joshua Chin in the 93 is going to assume second place as Adam Blocker comes to pit lane in his number 74. So Zach Campbell retakes the lead. He's got a lot of lap traffic to deal with. We're past the halfway point in this race. And Campbell trying to work his way around Andreas Ike in 16th. He will blast right on by.
A big dive to the inside and get that spot.
Andrew Kinsella in pit lane, last week's winner in the 14. He's going to fire back up and slot back in line. How about this guy, though? The road course is unstoppable so far this season on pace. Hasn't really been a huge force on the oval stuff yet. But I think if he can get a couple victories on the road courses, he's going to be probably a championship favorite. I don't know where he is in the standings.
33rd, so I don't really think he's going to have a
So
chance.
he's not going to have a chance at that.
He's only shown up for Pocono and Laguna Seca.
That explains why he hasn't really been there on the ovals, I guess.
Yeah. So hasn't made a whole lot of starts this season. Unfortunately, the runs that he's had this season haven't been the best. Looking just at the finishes, finished 18th at Pocono and 24th at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, the Laguna Seca one, though, he should have won that race.
Yeah, he ran really well, and even ran well at Pocono, too, before I think got into quite a few incidents there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 2 definitely has the pace and showing it tonight, and unless something really bad happens to him, he should be able to finish this race on top, or unless someone gets him on strategy.
John Downing and Andrew Kinsella, this is for 8th place. 20 laps to go at the start-finish line this time through. And Kinsella trying to set up a pass here on one of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars.
Just trying to follow it. You can see the push in behind.
Yeah.
Goes way wide in turn 1.
Yeah, big push for Kinsella. And that's all going to depend on how you have your car set up. How much downforce do you have built into the race car? Because if you're relying on a lot of aerodynamic downforce, you're going to have a rough time. I think a lot of drivers might have built in a lot of mechanical grip into their setups tonight because this racetrack, a lot of the corners are so slow that aerodynamics really don't factor in at all, meaning you can't use downforce to your advantage. And they continue to work their way through turns 4 and 5. Andreas Ike in the 76 has gone for another spin.
And bad day gone worse for him.
And this is actually entering the keyhole, so he went for a wild spin wherever it was. This is at the exit of turn number 1. Ran wide onto the dirt, grabbed some cones, and that's what slipped him off into the chicane area there. And that's definitely not where an IndyCar belongs, in the grass. So he will get back on course, back down in 20th place. So right now, Zach Campbell leads the way by 13.5 seconds. A bit of a bobble up over the top of the hill.
And actually, we can look and try to see the pit delta, if you can pull that out for me. So pit delta is looking at around 26, 27 seconds. So looking at the gap between Campbell and Chin, that should give Chin about 13 seconds ahead when Zach Campbell comes back in. So that's kind of looking where the strategy between the 2 and the 93 is looking at right now.
Ooh, look at this fight. Branch and Thompson, they've been side by side a lot tonight, and they're not done yet. Here comes Andrew Wood, a fight for a 10th spot, a 3-car, make it 4-car battle as Richard Holt jumps into the fight. Ooh, a bit of a chop there by Joe Branch, slots in line.
Yeah, we're talking about our leader. You're going to see him coming to the frame right there in the background. So he's got a 4-car battle going on up ahead of him.
And none of these drivers are going to want to lay over.
Oh,
no! Wood spins in front of Richard Holt. He slides off into the tire barrier, and just like that, Andrew Wood's night going to go up in smoke there, and he might be stuck. No, he's finally got it refired.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got some rear end damage to the car, so that can be replaced, but he's going to lose a ton of track position.
There's Lichtenberg that goes around him. That's for 17th. Riley Thompson and Joe Branch, they will continue dogfighting for 10th spot as the leader, Zach Campbell, closes in behind. Bit of a lockup. No, there goes Riley Thompson right in front of the leader. Campbell goes around. And that is terrifying as the race leader when you see people spin out right in front of you. How do you miss it? Campbell did a nice job there.
I was going to say, that made his life a little bit easier. Instead of having to pass 4 battling cars, only got to pass 1.
And Richard Holt into pit lane to fix that wing damage. In the background, that's Chad Simpson comes in for another stop. So we're going to see a lot more cars hit pit lane on that 2-stop strategy here shortly, but also seeing a couple other drivers down pit lane. Andrew Wood in the 32. That is probably night over for him. That wing pretty well destroyed on that number 32.
Alright, he's even got, actually didn't see that too. He's even got some damage to his side paw and the tray on the right side. That was going to take quite a while to fix.
Oh, he's rolling again. He got that wing replaced at least, so he's going to go back out on track and try to salvage something out of tonight. Downing and Kinsella, this fight hasn't gone away yet. 8th place. Kinsella's still struggling with aero understeer is my imagination here.
Yeah, that's a frustrating thing too, because there's nothing much you can really do about being stuck in behind the guy with the aero watch. I mean, yeah, obviously that's the whole reason for push to pass, but it's pretty hard to use. You see Kinsella making a big dive to the inside, locking up a little bit.
Yeah, trying to get by the 32 of Wood before the corner. He did so. Just had to be a little aggressive to do it. All right, battle for 11th. Riley Thompson and Marshall Stanley in the 55. And Stanley has had a pretty quiet night. Started 25th, he's up to 12th, so it's certainly trending in the positive direction, which I don't think a lot of drivers can say tonight. So this has turned into a little bit of a race of attrition. Liam Quinn has called it a night 3 laps ago. He is off and out. Dan Ench is out on the racetrack still, but he's 4 laps down. Tim Doyle is out in the number 11. Jeff Drake, Henry Bennett also out. Dakota DiCienzo did not start this race.
Yeah, so even though there has been quite a few incidents, we started with 27 guys, we still got 24 still running.
Back up to the front, Zach Campbell continues to lay down incredible lap times. Last time through a 106.173, only a couple hundredths off of his best time of the night.
I'm curious when he's going to come in to make his final stop. Let's see, he's probably going to come in around the next 5 laps or so. He's going to make his final stop of the race.
David Adams again spun around.
I was up into 15th.
How did he get behind the wall? It's an interesting place to spin into.
I think it spun off the corner.
Oh, he was way off the track there.
Yeah. Almost had it corrected there.
He looped all the way around. But let's go back a little farther here, and here's his handwork. And you think you're good, but that curb was really only a couple feet wide, and I think a lot of drivers, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is relatively forgiving curbing-wise. They give you quite a bit. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, not a ton. It runs out really quickly, and if you get caught with your tire in the grass, you're going to go for a spin. So Adams will get back in line in 17th place and continue his run. Brandon Trano solidly running in 3rd place. Remember, he spun out tonight as well, but has enough pace to keep himself inside the top 5. Frank Levick, the 4th, in 4th place in that 77.
It's been a pretty uneventful night for the 77. He's been running quietly around 5th place inside the top 5. And will continue to do so, though I believe he's one of those drivers that's got to make another stop before the end of this race.
Adam Blocker in the 74 is running in 5th. He's been really solid on the ovals this year, as well as the road courses, and WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca actually ran quite well.
Yeah, and he's also set to go to the end of the race on his tank of gas that he has now, so he's good to go till the end. The only other driver ahead of him on the strategy is Joshua Chin in the 93. Blocker setting himself up nicely, and just in general, too, should be able to easily take away the points lead from Bennett this race.
Yeah, again, the points. This is the points walking into the night. Henry Bennett in that number 007. He'll finish officially 27th. It will be eventually 40 laps down in a 45-lap race, so really not the night he wanted to have.
And it looks like from that, Adam Blocker, Andrew Kinsella, and Brandon Trano will be the guys benefiting from this race tonight. However, Bennett, Lichtenberg, Kingsbury, and those 3 guys and Andreas Eichtier, they're all going to struggle. Ryan
Norton's down on pit road for his 2nd pit stop of the night. You mentioned the 10 of Brennan Lichtenberg. He's been really solid at the short ovals so far this year. At least at Mid-Ohio, has really not had a lot of speed this weekend.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't put down a qualifying lap. He started all the way in the back of the grid. He's made it quite a few spots before the end of this race, currently running in 14th, but not sure if he just didn't qualify due to lack of pace. I mean, he's got decent pace that he's put himself up into 14th, so I'm kind of surprised that he didn't put a time down that definitely cost him quite a few spots.
I will say, again, here's the list of the best lap times in the race. If you take a look, and Zach Campbell has actually just run even quicker, a 105.909.
Yeah, that's the first time down below 106 this race so far.
Yeah, so we've actually broken the 106 margin, but look at the difference in these best lap times. Ray Kingsbury down in 15th spot. His best lap time is only a 107.5. That's a second and a half off of Zach Campbell. I mean, there's a huge discrepancy in lap time differences. It seems like this technical and challenging racetrack has really challenged a lot of people this week. Frank Levitt, the fourth, down in pit lane again for his second stop of the night.
He's off and good till the end, and will be out in 5th place.
And you see right in front of him is Dan Ensch in the 52, who's moved up a spot after he's just passed Liam Quinn, who is done for the night. Ensch is 4 laps down, just trying to pick up whatever points he can. John Downing on and off a pit lane, the Sadie Sim Autosport car. 13 laps to go here at Mid-Ohio, about 15 minutes worth of racing. Of course, if you haven't grabbed yourself a Coca-Cola yet, you should. We want to thank the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana for sponsoring the MyLaps Indy Elite Series races, as well as the Redline Ace Company for coming on board and sponsoring the Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio tonight. Of course, links to all of our sponsors are listed in the video description, so thank you so much to those folks, the good people of MyLaps, Redline Ace, and the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana. Joe Flanagan in the 53, he has made it down to pit lane, and this time a little bit smoother trip on and off pit lane. Joshua Chin in the 93 just worked around John Downing, puts him a lap down. So right now there's only 7 cars on the lead lap as Campbell, he's extended his lead out to 17.8 seconds and continues to grow.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing where he comes in for his stop. So remember he said earlier that the pit lane delta is about 26 seconds down on pit road. Might actually be a little bit more, not including the time it takes for these guys to slow down and get back up to speed. So probably going to lose maybe 28, 29 seconds when it's all said and done to Joshua Chin. So Chin should be able to take the lead then by about 10 seconds, 10 to 12 seconds, if my math is correct, over Campbell's. Campbell's going to have to make up quite a bit over that 93 and chase him back down, but if anyone can do it, it's definitely going to be this 2 car.
Marshall Stanley heads to pit lane, his number 55. He is on and off of pit road. Richard Holt in the 91 and Jonathan Goke. We haven't really heard a whole lot about Goke yet tonight either. One of the other Spark VR machines driving here tonight. He sits 18th at the moment, trying to chase down 17th place Richard Holt. But really the story of the night has been the attrition that we've seen. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, I don't really remember seeing a whole lot of incidents. I mean, we saw a couple here and there, but Mid-Ohio has been an extreme challenge for these drivers tonight. Again, it's not an easy track. I mean, it is such a challenging course. It's low grip. The conditions are relatively cool, although they have risen up to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. So what that means is that these drivers felt like they could push more with the cool track temps, and it just turns out that that was not the case here tonight. Relatively slippery racetrack, especially in the S's portion on the far side of the course, though, the second to last sector. That's where the challenge has been this evening.
Birds fly past the screen.
How majestic is that? 3 frames a second. Head back down to the racetrack here and pick up, let's see if there's a battle for position. Brendan Lichtenberg and Andreas Ike. This is for 11th place. And Ike has actually responded quite nicely. He has had an awful night. He's been off course several times, not all of them totally his fault.
He's been up and down the order so many times tonight, and this is, I'm actually amazed that he's back in 12th, so we'll see where he does completely end up when this is all said and done by the end of it. Hopefully nothing else happens to him, because I think he's already had too much happen to him. He's been involved in 3 different incidents. I really think almost pretty much none of them of his own doing.
So, we have 11 laps to go. Should be 10 next time by, and it will be 10 to go as Zach Campbell rounds turn 13, comes across the Honda start-finish line. 10 laps to go in the Redline Ace Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio, and it's been a Zach Campbell sort of night. I don't think anyone has had anywhere near the pace that this 2 car has had. Joshua Chin, 18 seconds behind. He just now is exiting turn 13 and comes across the start-finish line. Right behind him, well, I say right behind him, another 18 seconds back is Adam Blocker. So huge gaps, huge discrepancies in pace, but that does not mean it's been a boring race. It's been incredibly entertaining tonight, as all races have been this year.
Here comes Andreas Ike all over the back of Brandon Lichtenberg here, battle for 11th place.
Yeah, you see again, the aero wash the 76 car had to deal with through turn 1. Lost a lot of ground. on the 10. I'll have to gain it up in the braking zones, maybe use a little bit of push to pass. Again, I really wish we could know how much they have.
Yeah, you and me both. I also wish we had the newer system where push to pass. It's still the old system where you just hit the button and you go for about 20 seconds until you hit the brakes. And that's where disengage is. I would prefer the newer system much more, where you get a set amount of seconds and you get to use it as many times wherever you want on the track.
So Lichtenberg continues to hang on to 11th for the time being. Richard Holt and Jonathan Goak, these guys are still engaged in a little one-on-one for 15th.
They're trying to find a way around the 91 who got involved in the incident, lost his wing.
Yeah, the brake rotors on the number 08 at Gokart were glowing pretty heavily into the braking zone of turn number 4, so he's been pushing the car quite a bit in the last couple laps. You see him big wiggle over the top of the crest. I sense there's a lot of drivers that are not totally comfortable with the situation out there. Actually, Zach Campbell has come to pit lane a second time.
Yeah, he was set to do so.
Was he?
Oh, he didn't take tires. That's what I was looking
okay.
at. I was wondering why the stop was...
Put some fuel in the vehicle, and we're starting to get that car pop out of line. He's trying to get by a couple of vehicles that he needs to, and Joshua Chin is just up the road. And I think Chin also needs to come to pit lane.
No, he should be fine.
Oh, no, he should be good. You're right.
Yeah, he came in on lap 22, and based on the way Blocker and Kinsella were running, I would imagine Chin would not want to make another pit stop, especially because now he's got the lead. He's got a really fast car behind him, but Campbell did not take tires.
Yeah, so my question to you now is Zach Campbell, was he pushing too hard that he had to come down pit road? Because we thought he was good to the end on fuel. So was he pushing too hard and used up all the fuel that he had in reserve?
Oh, no, I didn't think he was good at all. He came in at around 18...
oh, he was the one that came in early. It was the other guy. Okay, thank you for correcting me. There is, I think that's Matt Kingsbury who just went by. 2 laps down now goes the 21.
You see, Zach Campbell should be able to get to the 93. However, once he gets there, it's going to kind of be a different story, because we haven't seen how the 2 is in behind traffic, especially guys that he's racing with. And I'd say Chin's almost on pace with the 2. And even 2, I was looking before, Zach Campbell, he was falling off the pace a little bit to around where Joshua Chin was running. So they're kind of equaling out. So I don't know if the 2's tires are necessarily as good as they would be if they were fresh.
Of course, Joshua Chin, sponsored by Craig's Setup Shop. Of course, that's a really cool service. It's one of the competitors to the virtual racing school, where you can essentially go subscribe to Craig on Twitch, and you essentially get his setup shop where he makes custom setups, and I guarantee you that he had a thing or two to do about this setup that the 93 is running right now, and he's been awful competitive. So they don't give us any money, but they're a pretty cool service.
Yeah,
But he uses them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually use their servers. Really good setups. It's maybe pretty competitive open setup races, because I have absolutely no idea how to set up a car.
Well, Craig does, and he'll set them up for you. Just go subscribe to him on Twitch. Or
and also, too, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription,
it's free.
You can hook it up with your Twitch, and you can get these setups for free, essentially. So definitely do that if the chance. But yeah, Joshua Chin curling out there is still leading over Campbell. Campbell hasn't really been able to make much of an inroad on the 93.
So last time by, a 106.777 for Chin, a 106.661 for Zach Campbell. So that tells me the 2 car is quicker, but not by a whole lot. We might have a battle on our hands. It'll be 6 laps to go next time by, and these front 2 at least are done pitting.
Yeah, and if you saved up your push the pass, which I imagine the 2 has, I don't really think he's had a need to really use them until probably now. Definitely want to start using them.
Yeah, the problem is you gotta be careful with the push to pass, because if you use it in the wrong area, you could get yourself into trouble. I mean, especially on that long back straightaway, if you haven't used push to pass yet, you get into that long straightaway, you're flying, you're going at the top speed, and you haven't made that braking zone yet. With that push to pass on, you might completely blow your braking zone. So you have to keep that in the back of your head. There's a lot of speed built up with that push to pass. So here's Goak and Richard Holt. They finally traded positions for 15th.
Yeah, well, it looks like Goak's got some new damage to his left front wing.
Yeah, quite a bit, actually.
Oh, and even the side pods get bashed in as well.
Yeah, I wonder if these 2 might have had a coming together. Yes.
Oh, wow.
That was a good guess, wasn't it? Here's a look.
Yeah, this is right before, too.
Into the keyhole. You see the brake rotor's already glowing on the 08. He tried to cross him over and get the throttle down and just ran into the back of Richard Holt and just drove right into him there. So try to get the pass done and just aim for a hole that really didn't exist and got quite a bit of damage. I think it hurt him more than it did the 91.
Oh, gap between Zach Campbell and Chin's expanded quite a bit down to 3 seconds. I think
it's been a mistake by the 2 car.
Yeah, I think Myvin had some trouble getting around this car here. Oh, no, Adam.
Oh, he might have spun out.
Uh-oh. And
this is in turn 1. He ran way off in turn 1. He's going to bounce right back onto the pavement, and big damage to that front wing.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's going to be huge here. With 6 laps to go, Zach Campbell, who has dominated the race, he led 33 of the 40 laps we've completed. Big damage to that front wing. Can he chase down Joshua Chin?
I don't think so, because Chin actually, the lap before, he ran his fastest lap of the race at 106.3. This time I ran a 106.5. But this 93 started to pick up the pace here, and right as Zach Campbell damages his wing, he's going to need that. And you can imagine, too, these guys get as much downforce as possible. When they get in behind the car, he's already got a damaged wing, so he's going to have even more reduced downforce.
Yeah, of course, this kind of thing is going to compound on itself, because now he's going to be losing downforce in very critical corners like turn 1. So if he runs wide, again, it'll be because of this downforce issue. So he's got 3 seconds to make up in 5 laps. I don't think that's going to happen. And Zach Campbell, we thought this was a write-up. We thought he was going to have this one. Looks like that might not be the case.
And he's on old tires as well, so this is not looking good for the two.
And this is how strategy can take a race away from you. I mean, this is what happened at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. He had some other things happen there, but the strategy wasn't there. But Joshua Chin in the 93, how about this plan? Again, this was a single stop strategy for the number 93. He's got to make it 4 more laps. Campbell is closing, but it's not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough. And then again, when you have to consider, once he gets there, he's going to hit a wall of air that it's going to be really, really hard to overcome.
No one else really in the conversation. Adam Blocker is 18 seconds behind Campbell. And at the start-finish line, Campbell's still 3 seconds back. He was only a 10th quicker. He's going to have to be on the order of seconds quicker or require the 93 to go off course, which Joshua Chin, other than that lap 1 mistake, has not made a mistake this race.
Yeah, no, you think he probably would have been kicking himself if he didn't win this race after what happened there. He would have been imagining what could have been, but looks like he's going to be able to take the win regardless, as long as he doesn't make a mistake now. And two's made a mistake.
Oh, there it is!
Oh,
he
no.
locks up big time into turn 4. You gotta be quiet, Vinny. Big lockup for the 93 into turn number 4. He almost found himself going for a swim on China Beach, but he gathers it back up. He only lost a half a second. Still a huge margin, but this race is not over till that checkered flag falls.
It really is, and he should probably dial it back just a little bit in some of these corners just to make sure he doesn't make another mistake like that, because Campbell could he's definitely within close distance to take advantage of Chin if he makes
you gotta be quiet.
error.
You gotta stop doing that. He's gonna win this race. He locks up big time. You gotta be quiet, Finian. 3 laps to go for Joshua Chin. And that time by, it's gonna be a big gain for the 2 car, but he's gonna need Joshua Chin to continue making those mistakes. And look at the speed that Campbell tried to carry through, almost off the course through turn 1.
He's definitely gonna be pushing as much as he can right now. If he goes off the track, the next car back is 20 seconds back, so he can really just push and try to close in as much as he can. It's a tall order, though, 2 seconds and 3 laps.
A couple other drivers making some late race pit stops, couldn't quite make it to the end, but Joshua Chin, under the assumption he can go all the way to the finish, really has put on an incredible performance in the latter half of this race after that mix-up heading down this very corner in turn 5 on the opening lap, gave the lead away, fell to 4th. It was a struggle to gain those spots back, but he has stolen them back away with some strategy. He's only pitted 1 time this race, and he only has to go 2 more laps and about a quarter to make it to the end and win this race. Zach Campbell, though, putting in the effort. He's gained about 1.5 seconds since his pit stop. Gap is 1.9. 2 laps to go for Joshua Chin. Clouds have come over the speedway and cooled the track down about 5 degrees from where it was at its height. 98 Fahrenheit was the hottest point of the race. 1.8 seconds is the gap.
It's starting to close down just a little bit. I imagine Chin just making sure no more lockups for him.
1.6, a big gain on the entry to the keyhole, as Brandon Trano, I think, has gone for a loop. Either that or he did go for a spin. So the 9 car is having, he spun out earlier in the race. Other than that, he's had a pretty solid night and just got on the curb too much. And this is going into the carousel in the final corner, just carried too much speed.
And Thompson did a great job avoiding it. It was just a little loop for Trano. Didn't lose a spot.
We're not done up front. Joshua Chin still leads, but it's only a 1.2 second gap. That yellow car growing in the mirrors. We're coming back to the white flag. It'll be 1 more time around. 2.2 miles for Joshua Chin. Can he redeem himself from the lap 1 mistake? But Campbell is closing and closing fast.
Yeah, he left dirt out through those final few corners there. Here you go. White flag in the air for these guys. 1 more lap to go.
And it's only a 1 second gap now. Campbell is gaining Chin with some lap traffic. Here comes Campbell in the number 2. Lots of speed, but he's got less than 2 miles to make up the time. Swings to the left. He's going to throw almost... Oh, that was almost a crash there. But he gained. He still gained. 0.5 second is the gap. Chin trying to drive away.
Yeah, went a little bit wide in the corner. Actually lost a lot of time, down to up to a second through there, being wide in the keyhole there. He's going to try to make up this time. I don't know if he's got enough time left.
Most challenging sector. Chin's going to try not to overdrive, but Campbell drives in hard, trying to use all the brakes that he's got left, all the tires he's got left. A two-to-stop strategy, but on old tires, he's trying to chase down Joshua Chin. Half the racetrack left, and Chin trying to redeem himself. Can he do it here at Mid-Ohio?
Comes to the final few corners. Campbell's running out of options. He's there. Might have needed another lap. He's got a few more corners to try something.
2 more corners for Joshua Chin. He started on pole, a big mistake on lap 1, took it away from him. Here comes Campbell, right to the rear wing in the final corner. Last corner, Joshua Chin slips. Here comes Campbell at the start-finish line, side by side, to the line. Who gets it? And the official result is Zach Campbell!
Wow!
19 thousandths of a second!
Oh, wow! At the line, 19 thousandths of a second in the final corner at Mid-Ohio. I don't think you really see that here.
And heartbreak.
You never see a pass out of the final quarter in Mid-Ohio.
All it took.
And we just saw that as Chin slipped in the final corner.
All it took to take away that race was one little slip.
I cannot believe he actually did it. Wow.
What a drive by Zach Campbell. I mean, have you ever, Phineas?
No, I've never. That was a fantastic
unbelievable finish at Mid-Ohio. I don't even believe that was the result. Here's a look. Look for yourself.
That's crazy.
Timing and scoring, 19 thousandths of a second.
At Mid-Ohio.
That's the closest margin of victory this year.
Yeah. I'm just amazed that it was at this track, because this track's not necessarily known for close racing.
It's
it's a decent racetrack, but it's not known for that like close battles, because it's a really tight track. But 19 thousandths of a second out of a road course,
I don't believe it.
Amazing! Wow!
And you have to feel for Joshua Chin. I mean,
he had that.
He had it, and it was just
lost
one
in the
little
last
slip.
100 yards. Wow! Oh,
and there's going to certainly be some frustration. I think he'll look back at this and regret everything he did in that last lap. But for Joshua Chin, valiant effort regardless, but the winner of tonight's race at Mid-Ohio.
Damaged wing, old tires, and still managed to pull it off. That was an amazing drive.
Unbelievable. The Redline ace, Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio, goes to Zach Campbell in a wild last lap turn of events. We'll watch it here in just a moment, but celebrations for Zach. What an incredible result. We're going to go back and take a look here and just, Vinny, we got to walk over exactly what happened, because I don't think anybody could have predicted that was the way that was going to end.
I didn't even think he was going to get there in the last lap, especially coming through there. But
here's a look. We're going to look from up high above, and this is, so the 93, he gets a pretty decent line through the corner. Was there actually some contact? We really didn't have a great angle on it. I think he just got loose.
Yeah,
he just tried to get the power down and just slipped all on his own.
Slipped there. Try to block off the 2.
No contact, clean and green all the way to the end here. Maybe a little bit of a slip there, but look at that. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, the 93 of Chin just couldn't get the power down out of the final corner. Then 2 was able to fly on by him. We'll take an onboard of the 2 next, but
yeah, just right here, the slip, and he couldn't quite get the car far enough left to protect, and he probably still thinks he might have it here. And even with that juke to the left, Campbell still carried enough speed to get there to the end. We'll ride on board with the 2 now. And he was tucked in tight, right up against the edge of the curb. And over the bump, just tries to throttle up, and just that little bit too much throttle.
Saw the hole.
And right here, right at the finish.
Let's go on board with Chin. I want to see what went on in his cockpit.
And right to the checkers. It was in first gear. That's the gear that everyone's been in tonight. And throttles up, and just, he wasn't really even totally, I mean, we'll have to go back and look at this at full speed.
Hang on, wait. Yeah, just didn't get on the power as well as Campbell.
Yeah, here's a look at full speed. Just that one little bobble is all it took. How frustrating is that for Joshua Chin?
Yeah, I thought maybe he missed a shift or something, but I don't know how Campbell was able to get that much power down. He got a carling in that little of a space, and he was able to get enough acceleration. That's incredible that he was able to do that.
One more look here before we'll jump to break momentarily and bring you the interviews here, but you gotta feel for Joshua Chin, all the effort he put in tonight. just to come up 19 thousandths of a second short. We'll be right back. We're going to grab Zach Campbell, and hopefully Joshua Chin will talk to us. I would understand if he doesn't, but we'll also be with Adam Blocker and maybe one or two others here in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Here's a word from our sponsor, MyLaps.
To get the best result, it's all about ambition, hard work, and doing the right things right. In 1982, two Dutch brothers invented an automatic way to time RC races. The system of the company, called AMB-IT, was quickly adopted by pro racing series like NASCAR and IndyCar. Automated timing for mass participation sport events was also invented in the Netherlands by Champion Chip in the early 90s. Giving athletes a personal chip time of their performance. In 2008, the two companies joined forces, and MyLaps Sports Timing was born. We never stop innovating, with state-of-the-art timing systems and digital services to enhance the event experience. With our X2 platform, we bring motorsports timing to a whole new level with two-way communication. Our event app and photo video create the ultimate event experience for athletes and fans with live data and personal content like photos and videos. SpeedHive provides a pro-level racing experience for amateur and club events by analyzing personal data. We capture performances of over 20 million racers and athletes every year and use live data to spark emotions. MyLaps. Experience progress.
Welcome back live to SimTV. Here now with fourth place finisher Brandon Trano driving the number 9 car tonight. Brandon, a slip, a slide, a couple spins here and there, but a top 5 result. You got to be pretty happy with tonight, but is there anything else you could have done to maybe get yourself a little bit higher up that finishing order?
Yeah, not spin twice. No, it was a good run. Vertical courses aren't really my strong suit, but to get a top 5 is pretty good. I think I would have got third if I wouldn't have spun twice. I was just catching blocker that last little stint there and just tried to push a little too hard into that last corner and locked it up and ultimately threw it away. But no, kudos to him for his strategy and congrats to Zach on the win.
Talk to us about the challenges of setting up an IR18 for this kind of course. Obviously, a very low grip course by default, but then throw a bunch of rubber on it and make the track temp relatively cool. What setup challenges were there tonight, and how were you struggling to find a decent balance to get that car tracking straight?
Yeah, I don't know if I can speak for everybody else, but I put on a couple clicks of front wing as that race went on just to try to keep it turning through the center because I got extremely tight once it got really rubbered in. And as you saw, I was off-centered a little bit and got in the marbles and spun out at the end of the race. So it is challenging to set this car up and, combined with the marbles and the new track dynamic that iRacing has come out with, it makes it quite challenging.
All right, well, Brennan Trano, the 9 car, fourth place tonight, a solid top 5 result, even after a couple spins. Brennan, congrats on a top 5, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Moving on now to our third place finisher, Adam Blocker in the 74 tonight. Pretty quiet night for you, Adam, which is a good thing, I would suppose, after a lot of people struggled with grip levels overall, spun out a couple times, but I don't think I saw you spin at all, so it looked like you had a pretty solid night. Podium for you in that 74 team. Your thoughts after Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, I had one little off that cost me a second or two, but really just it's really consistent all night. Mid-Ohio is definitely not my best road course, and but Feel Safe kind of helped me a little bit. I think it helped me beat guys like Trano that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to beat maybe. And yeah, Henry went off, and that helped me too. So yeah, I kind of had a really bad qualifying. It was P7, so right from then I knew, okay, I'm going to be in traffic the first stint, so I committed to 23 laps in the first stint, and then which honestly the first stint went pretty well. I mean, I thought I had decent pace for what I was, for the amount of fuel I was having to save, but I mean, the second stint, I guess I just couldn't switch back on to running full pace while not saving fuel. So kind of just had to scrape it home in third.
So the points leader coming into the night was Henry Bennett in the 007. Of course, he had issues and finished in 27th, 39 laps down. We haven't seen the official standings yet, but you should be leading after tonight. It's the halfway point in the season. Do you think you can hang on for the rest of the season?
I mean, I think Michigan next race will be pretty big indicator. I need a good race there because it's double points. But if I can get through there okay, I think I have a good chance.
All right, well, solid night for Adam Blocker, a podium for the 74 Adrenaline Motorsports team. Adam, thanks so much for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on now to second place driver Joshua Chin. Josh, I know that there's got to be a little bit of frustration after a finish like that in the final moments, a 19,000th of a second margin of victory for Campbell over the 93 team tonight, but still a strong result, a second place, even with the heartbreak at the end. Are there positives to take away from Mid-Ohio?
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to get a top 5 on the season finally. It's been a real rough stretch of races and a lot of thrown away points. And I don't think this quite gets us up to the top 10 in points, but it's a better shot than what we had before. I think frustrating is definitely maybe understating it a little bit.
So when we talk about this race as a whole, the first lap, you actually started on pole tonight, and on lap number 1, you slid off in turn number 5. Had you stayed on course and led the first couple laps, would that have changed your strategy at all, or did you adjust it after the off there?
No, I had committed to the fuel saving strategy basically from 4 or 5 days ago, starting testing, and it definitely didn't help going off because being stuck in traffic didn't really work for it. I could save better by myself. The draft wasn't really that big outside of going into China Beach, but I mean that 4 or 5 seconds lost kind of blew to 10 seconds by the first pit stop for Zach, and I think that's ultimately what kind of made all the difference.
So if you could redo that last lap one more time, other than the final corner, is there anything else you think you could have done differently to keep that 2 car behind you?
Not wiggle it and maybe lift off a little bit more through Thunder Valley and just save that extra half a tenth of a gallon. But I don't know. There was that much more I could do at that point.
All right, well, still a great run for the 93. Comes up 19 thousandths of a second short here at the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Josh, thanks so much for talking to us. I know a frustrating night, but a second place, still a solid result. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Good to talk to you.
Absolutely. Zach Campbell up in the booth next, the winner here in the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Zach, congratulations, first of all. A dominant performance most of the night. You led 34 laps en route to your victory, but it looked like in the final couple laps it was slipping away with the strategy, and you stole it in the final corner. Just walk us through chasing down Joshua in those closing laps and that final corner.
I don't even know where to begin to start. I mean, I practiced for Petit Le Mans, the BMW 120, and just kind of put this on the back burner. And then, today started practicing and getting everything back kind of where it was. And I didn't even know that a one stop would be possible here. I was told the fuel was 19 laps guaranteed. And so I'm like, sweet, I'll just pit at the end of 19 laps. And about halfway through the race, I kind of realized what Chin was doing. I'm like, I have to push. And so I just started hitting Q lap after Q lap after Q lap, and ended up with 0 push to pass at the end. Just trying to burn it and get it through and just hit as fast laps as I could. And I mean, obviously I made a really big mistake in turn 1 there and ran off. And maybe it would have been more decisive had I not ran off. But overall, I mean, I couldn't even imagine where to start here.
Well, I mean, again, it was a spectacular run, and you also had speed at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So do you look back at that race and wonder what if that had gone quite as smoothly as this one? Do you think you could have 2 victories so far this season?
I don't ever want to say that, I guaranteed had a victory there. I don't think so. I think that everyone was too strong, and I made a mistake there too and spun. Then obviously I had some pretty bad luck with traffic befall me, but besides that, I mean, I really don't know. I can't really say. But all I know is that I won here tonight, and I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Absolutely. An incredible result. A very entertaining last lap for sure, especially that last corner. Zach, congratulations from us here at SimTV. A great finish there for you. Congratulations on a dominant night. 34 of 45 laps. I don't think we thought it would be quite that close about halfway through the race, but you certainly made it exciting. So congratulations, and we'll hopefully see you around for some more races this season.
Yeah, hopefully I see you around and continue to make things a little more exciting.
All right, Zach. Thanks so much. Have a great night. All right, so that's going to do it for Zach Campbell, who won the race tonight. We also want to go back and briefly take a look earlier in the night, actually right as we started. Matt Kingsbury in the number 21 machine. I don't actually know if I can go back that far because of my replay settings right now. Never mind. I was going to take a look at the off-track from Matt Kingsbury, but I couldn't do that, unfortunately. So it all started pretty crazy at the beginning of the night with Kingsbury spinning out on the pace lap. Joshua Chin losing control on the opening lap from the lead, and cars left and right seemed like they were spinning every couple laps. But at the end of the night, Zach Campbell in the number 2 car absolutely just stole it away from Joshua Chin in the final moments. And Josh, again, we feel for him because he really put on a show at the end trying to hang on, but a little bit too much throttle and a bit too much horsepower in such a challenging final corner. Your thoughts as we head to an oval in our next round?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially because it's going to be one of the Triple Crown events. It's going to be at Michigan, and that's, as Adam Blocker said, double points are on the line for these guys to get one up in the championship. That could be big for Henry Bennett to get himself back in the race after finishing back down in 27. He's going to lose a ton of points to some of the guys he's competing with, but he can easily turn around next week.
All right, that has been the SimTV broadcast of the Redline Ace Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. I want to thank our sponsors again, MyLaps, the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo, Indiana, as well as Redline Ace for coming on board and sponsoring this race and this series. Thank you so much from us here at SimTV. We got more broadcasts coming up later tonight. We got Circuit of the Americas with some NASCAR trucks. The Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour takes on COTA at 9:40 p.m. in just over an hour. Be here for that in just a little bit over an hour. Then tomorrow night, the Race Kings Cup Series for 3-Wide takes on Martinsville, an elimination round in their series for their playoff format. Then Tuesday, the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series, they head out to another oval this week. We are at Richmond this week. Then Thursday, the Fuel IndyCar Series heads to the Charlotte Roval. That'll be at 9 p.m. on Thursday night. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much to our sponsors, and thank you so much to Redline Ace for sponsoring the Indy Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. For the MyLaps Indy Elite Series, this has been SimTV's broadcast. We'll see you later. Have a great night.